Guys, remember yesterday we covered a little bit of the Iron Mouse thing, which was really sad. Look at all the tabs I have here. My mods linked me a bunch of stuff while I've been streaming. And first off, I'm going to start with this. All the VTubers from Vshojo are no longer on Vshojo's affiliate list. It's over. All of them are gone. We have this one. Breaking. Kason was planning on leaving Vshojo on July 31st due to being owed a significant amount of earnings as well. She's not been paid out of any streaming earnings since October of last year. And Kason is live. Holy crap, 36,000 people that was watching. No one expected any less in this situation, but she plainly said to the Japanese Vshojo CEO, I quit.
I quit. This is very wrong. Ro-san.
Hi.
Very, very wrong. You're telling me that Vshojo JP was doing good? Looked like, at least. Then where is it? Where is it? I want it now.
Wait.
Did you just die?
Is that the actual CEO of the Japan branch? And he just straight up just doesn't say anything? Was like, I want my money? Kason just quit in front of the Japanese Vshojo. Oh, so this is that previous clip? Translated. It says the amount handled by JP was much lower than EN. Did you say Vshojo JP itself was doing good? Yes. You haven't paid me. That's what it says on the main company's finance book. Huh. Wait, so you know the JP talents were not being paid? Wait, no, it's not this one. No, it is. And then it says, for context, JP does not handle the finances on their own. We are doing good comparing the money coming in to the money going out. I quit Vshojo today. I was planning on doing it on the 31st, but I'm doing it today. I quit. This is very wrong. You're telling me you could have paid me? Yes. Where is the money? I want it now. ... Did you just die? Dude, did you just die is actually fucking iconic. And then there's this clip, Retro linked me, from Michi.
But for today, I'll just be talking about my own situation. I recently found out that Vshojo owes me a good amount of unpaid debt.
Holy shit.
Also have other reasons that I was advised not to get into or say too much of as of now. So I'm sorry if I can't talk about that.
They legally can't, by the way. Every lawyer on the planet that probably works with any of these people is probably like, you probably shouldn't say anything at all. Like, don't say anything. You can create problems for yourself. So like, they're already taking a bit of a risk, even talking about it publicly, any of these things. And it gets worse. It says this person moved from a noted VTuber company to another as a staff last year, bragging about his new income. He thrusted me a few of his new business cards to give to my good contacts. I found the action obnoxiously rude, but maybe he was too young and friendly to know better. Recently, I heard from another creator that he was showing photos of VTubers' real selves while revealing their personal info like marital status. I now wanted to find a way to warn the other employees. Today, I've learned the most despicable shit this company has done to their talent. Don't know if he's involved in that, but all my personal grudge is nothing compared to such betrayal. Sometimes, unfortunately, the managers or agencies can be the talent's worst enemy. Please always support the talent first. Holy shit, dude, how does it keep getting worse? I want to make a statement because I was always anxious to struggle to find my words, but yes, I'm leaving Vshojo. I was an OG talent, put everything in this comp, but I'm beyond devastated at what happened, and never in a million years I thought I'd be saying these words. Then this is Amelie's. As of today, I will be terminating my contract with Vshojo effective immediately, and I'll be returning to being independent VTuber and content creator. Nothing about my content will change, and I was indie for 18 years before signing with Vshojo, and I retained my IP. My love goes out to the talents. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for your continued support, and we look forward to the future. And then there's more from Kuro. I didn't want to say anything until it's finalized, but people have keep making assumptions. No, I'm not staying here, and I've already submitted a leave contract and I had that meeting 11 days ago. The only reason I still have the Vshojo brand logo on here is because they have to remove it themselves. As an associate, you cannot remove it yourself. Same with every other member. In any case, I'm waiting for the contract to be all fulfilled and done, but I guess I'm indie now, LOL. Well, apparently, according to this, it apparently looks like everyone's fucking gone. I have thousands of dollars from this person, Shiro Beats. I have $1,000 of unpaid work from them. Had to chase people down to make my friends get paid, or my friends got paid. They even hired someone to help with music stuff, but I ended up managing everything while they got paid for my work. Wait, is this person they're an artist producer? Oh my Jesus Christ. Wait, what is this? Past year, Vshojo has been habitually late in paying me for commissions. Wait, is this person are they producers? I was thinking if they're producers or maybe they made the rigging for stuff like that. Sometimes leaving thousands of dollars of my invoices unpaid for months at a time. I tried to be patient, but knowing they were stealing charity money from Mousy while this was all happening makes me sick to my stomach. Gotta jump in and say the same goes for me as well. There's multiple unreleased works I never received payment for to the other person. Another one from They. Looks like nothing changed between 2023 and 2025 in terms of how the org management moves LMFAO. Couldn't and still can't say shit because of their god-awful NDA that I had to sign. I legally can't badmouth the company, but at least everyone knows now the reason why we left. Holy shit. And you know, they probably had to sign that before they even got brought on. Before they even got brought on like the first time. There's one more thing before I say anything. There's also this. One last one from Iron Mouse. Any artists or musicians that worked with me through Vshojo and never got paid, please contact me ASAP so I can get you paid. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they're dead. They're cooked. They're actually cooked now. I don't have a whole lot else to really say on it. It's just more of like a wow. And I wonder, this has got to be the start of a whole new, like everyone's probably not going to want to be part of or corpas for agencies or for VTubing, right? You should post a look at the video Tori Orain posted. She's a prospective talent that was led on and isn't being reimbursed over 10 figures. It's fucked up. 5 figures. Oh, that's a big difference. My experience with Vshojo.
This statement is meant to be a defense to share my story and what I've been through the past year, and hopefully as an opportunity to back up some of the other victims' experiences. I will also be donating all money this video makes to the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Small, very small, good thing out of this, by the way. Does anyone have the Tiltify link? They're at like, I think over $500,000 raised over this. Look at this. It's at $513,000 raised. So if there's any good thing that has happened from this, is people coming together, which is f***ing sick. So there's at least one good W out of everything. And hopefully whenever they recover the money, because they have to, right? Hopefully, unless they go under, which I guess is a whole different story. That'll be $1 million raised, which is a big W.
In July of 2024, I submitted my application for Vshojo for their public auditioning process. A little over a month went by until their tweet went live stating that all applicants were reached out to. My callback email was received earlier that same day. From there, I went through almost 6 months of back and forth audition rounds. Inside of the auditioning process, most days there was only one staff member present, who later became the only staff member I had contact with my entire time signed with Vshojo. Eventually in December, I was booked for a final meeting where I would be congratulated for passing the audition process and invited to join Vshojo officially. I was told to start thinking about what kind of VTuber character I wanted to create, and I was told the spending budget that I'd be assigned for the model and debut. From here, my contact with Vshojo
Chat, does anyone know what that budget ends up looking like? Just curious.
moved to one-on-one Discord DMs. I received the talent contract, and a few weeks later, after consulting a lawyer, I signed the contract. I'm currently 7 months into that contract. At this time, I was asked not to stream under an indie account on the side. Initially, I was told that our onboarding process would begin a week after signing the contract. From there, production of assets would begin around March with an aim
Is this going where I think it's going, where she just doesn't get...
to debut timeline of summer. This was communicated to me before ever signing the contract.
Uh-oh.
Once I signed, I was told initial onboarding meetings would be pushed back by a week. During downtime, I began working with a character design artist out of my own pocket to bring my concept to life. Skip to the last day of February, after over a month of having the contract signed and still no onboarding meetings or official communication. I was told due to staff allocation, and staff allocation only, that the debut would now be pushed to a timeline of November 2025 to January 2026 instead of summer 2025.
Summer of 2025 to November/January? So wait, hang on. Are they getting paid? Like, do they get a salary until that point? Or are you just basically just fend for yourself? Because they already said you can't stream on the side, right? They were like, don't indie stream on the side. Like, you should commit to this. So like, how are you supposed to make income? Like, how are you supposed to pay your bills? You don't? They're supposed to help you with that? Yeah, like, but clearly they didn't.
Thanks.
Thank you for 12 months, appreciate it. But clearly they didn't, you know?
July would now be when we began onboarding meetings. I said I had no problem with delays, as long as I got to debut eventually. I then requested to start a small indie streaming account on the side, so I wasn't out of streaming for what would have been a year. I was told that this was okay, which is where I announced I would be my current indie Tori Oriane for an extended, undisclosed amount of time. On March 4th, I started to worry about my future. I had now been signed with Vshojo for 3 months. I had no contact with any staff apart from the one. I was part of no official
Wait, so they were March 4th, so they already missed the November to January window?
servers, given no updates about the company or those joining/departing from the company, and I had no contact with existing talent. I sent my staff contact to this DM. Hello. Hope the staff team has been doing well. I know we discussed waiting until July for production, but I just wanted to reconfirm that my joining of Vshojo is still happening. To be honest, I'm a little bit nervous given the delays and multiple months of downtime without communication, especially given I am halting most content creation related work in preparation for Vshojo. I don't mind the delays or waiting whatsoever, just a definitively confident reconfirmation would help ease my anxiousness. I hope we can open a more consistent line of communication in regards to updates
Tell me they
if
didn't
possible.
just not respond.
In short, I was told that the same debut timeline was being aimed for and that I didn't need to worry. However, I received another delay saying that onboarding and production would not begin until August instead of July now.
Wait, hang on. A little confused here. Did they miss last year's and it's all the way around? Because they said 3 months, so maybe they're just like they skipped ahead of the story then came back.
Need to worry, that I would get to debut and that I would receive a budget. I decided to shift my efforts into building what would become my brand under Vshojo, keeping staff in the loop along every step of the way.
Wait, was it January 2025 or November 2025? That's what I'm wondering. Because November 2025 is the future. January 2025 has already happened.
I reached out to model artists and riggers. I found an artist who agreed to work with me. I asked staff if there were any issues with working with this artist, and I was told no. So production began on the model art in June. It was then told to me that the allotted debut budget may need to be reevaluated. I sent. If the budget is timing related, I don't mind fronting the cost until it can be reimbursed down the line.
Oh no.
I was quoted $1,000. I can just provide receipts for the work to be compensated at a later date, if of course that's easier.
I hope, not to them, like to everyone, this is a lesson that you should never be forced to pay for anything work related out of pocket. If you are paying for anything work related out of pocket, that's salary, materials, whatever it is, you are getting scammed. You know who the people that unfortunately get scammed the most of is like teachers. And you can't even get mad at them because obviously like they're trying for the kids. You know, they'll buy a bunch of extra shit for the kids because it's for children. And it's like, obviously that's not a scam, but like they shouldn't have to pay for those things. Like if you're ever like they tell you to go run to the coffee shop and buy everybody coffees and you're going to buy that out of pocket and they don't reimburse you, whatever it is, you need to stop and like absolutely just tell them no. Always hardline no.
Once again, I reconfirmed if a debut would be happening.
Is that what I did when I was in Overwatch League? Yes and no. So in Overwatch League, when I first started, I was too young / too new to have my own card. So I would have to buy things on my own and then put in a request to get paid back. To be fair, they always did. They never f***ed me, right? But like I had to have the money in my account to spend the money, right? That was one thing that did kind of suck.
At this point, I didn't mind paying fully out of pocket if it meant I was debuting. I considered it as investing in myself.
Oh no.
Time and
that's
time
so
again,
sad.
I was reassured we would be debuting, so I genuinely had no issue with fronting these costs. I attended the June 2025 Off-Kai in person, and here I learned a lot more than what the staff was communicating to me at this point. I kept hearing whispers of Vshojo financial concerns. This concept was unheard of to me. I was told delays were only because of staff allocation. I was told there was a strong possibility I would not be debuting, despite the constant reassurance the past 7 months, due to these financial complications.
So they're cooked on money. That's what it is. That's why they don't have the 500,000. They don't have it. Oh, that's really bad. So you know how I was saying before during this part where I said, you know what the good thing is like even though like they're gonna probably get that 500,000 back from the company through litigation, this means that another 500,000. So like that's huge and they're gonna win and like that's a big W. That money which is probably gonna be gone. Then who has it? No one. It would be the company. So like okay, so if you don't know how and I'm speaking slightly out of my ass here. I'm trying to speak to my best of my ability of like my own 4-year degree of pretty high-end business school. When a company dissolves, obviously there's insurances and stuff like that, but like if a company goes under and goes bankrupt and there's no money to be had, that's it. The company's gone. Like there's no money to extract. Like yeah, the company will be fully gone, but like you can't squeeze blood from a stone. Unless there is actual fraud, like embezzlement, and they can go after the individual people, like let's say it's the CEO or whatever, there's a difference between mismanagement of funds at the company versus somebody stealing it. If they're stealing it, then they could go after that person. But if it's just the company's fucked up, there's a good chance it's just gone. Because then you just go into bankruptcy and the company just goes like, and you can, like, the American government just goes, yep, it's over. That company's gone. Poof. You can't go after the people who ran it. Unless, obviously, there's a fraud of some sort. That's different, though.
I am disgusted at the course of actions that Vshojo has chosen to take.
Yes, all their assets would be liquidated to pay off debts. But what assets does Vshojo have other than their talent? It's all online. Their talent is the thing that's worth money. Maybe if they had digital assets like stocks, crypto, offices, if they own them, sure, that stuff. But like, is it going to be 500,000 or more? I don't know.
I'm not only down 5 figures on debut-related fees, but I'm also down almost a year of my time. I'm not only devastated because of the wasted time, but because joining Vshojo was genuinely my dream. Vshojo introduced me to VTubing 5 years ago. It made me think I could do it. It made me believe that even though I wasn't the cookie-cutter idol that I so desired to be, that I could feel a part of this industry. And then I made it into Vshojo. I achieved my dream. And now, I never even got to do a singular onboarding meeting. I suppose that's why I'm releasing this statement.
What did she pay for? I'm so confused. She wanted to be a VTuber really bad, and they started to tell her they were having issues with getting her stuff done with payment. So she said that she would front the cost and then they would pay her back later. She offered to pay for it up front and have the company pay back her later. So she probably paid a lot of the money, or at least started the process of paying money to have her VTuber stuff done when the company should have been the one paying for it. So basically, the way I could describe this to you is like, your job's supposed to do something for you. Like, for example, move you to a different state. They're supposed to pay you $10,000 to move you. And then right before you're getting close to moving time, like, oh, we don't have the money to move you. And then you go, that's okay, I'll pay the $10,000 to move, just pay me back later. And then they just don't pay you back.
I just wanted someone to acknowledge what I've been through and see that I did make it in Vshojo, even if I will never debut. In hindsight, it feels incredibly selfish of me to be putting this out when so many others have experienced so much more loss and hurt through the actions of Vshojo. Once again, I encourage you to spread as much love as you can to those that are affected. Thank you for listening to my story. Please spread kindness and support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thank you.
Okay. As somebody who is very lucky to be able to say a few things, I'm very lucky to be able to say I've been pretty successful as a streamer. I've been pretty good at building a brand. I've got an education before going into streaming, and I've gotten pretty educated and from my fellow peers. I've had great people. Scroll down to top donos. Donating again because Vshojo stole the first one from Gamer Subs. Holy mother of... That's actually fire. I was gonna say, I've had the luck of being able to learn from others, and a lot of the big things that I've learned is standing your fucking ground 10 toes down, especially with a lot of companies, right? Publicly and privately. There's a lot of things you can do. I always try to play nice and play ball and give people their time, but I will, and if it comes down to asks, things that you're being paid for or not paid for, whatever, you stand 10 toes down and be like, either A, we're not doing this till we suggest payment. B, if we does get done, payment needs to be done in a timely manner. And 3, all of it's done through contracts. Everything is done down to the absolute T. There's almost never any verbal, word of mouth, wishy-washy. There is 2 things. We are either doing this and it's paid, or we are not doing it and it's not paid, period. And being sold on the idea of something or potential idea of something is something you need to always be afraid of and always keep in mind as a thing in the back of your mind. To not have happened to you. There's a lot of companies that will try to be your friend, and they will pretend like they have your best interest in mind, but your best interest in mind does not align with theirs many times, because their best interest is to make money, and if they are paying you for something, they want to pay you the littlest amount possible, because that means more money in their pocket as opposed to in yours. So even you can be friends with them, but you have to understand there's a difference once you get to the negotiating table, and there's a difference when it comes down to all of this stuff. You have to be super aware. And this is obviously a tragedy for VTuber space, for any content creator or someone who wants to be one in the future, you got to be very careful working with sponsors, very careful with working with games, very careful working with a lot of these things. And even if you're not one of those people, if let's say you're somebody who just works in corporate America, you have to be very careful, because there'll be a time, like for example, if they're promising you a promotion and they string you along for a year, 2 years, 3 years, promising you a promotion, that bitch ain't coming. That promotion's never coming, dude. That promotion is there to get you to work harder and to dangle you like a carrot on a stick. At some point you run out of gas, and then once you run out of gas and ask for that promotion, they know that once you get the promotion, you are not going to work as hard because you've been going 110% and you are going to burn out. They are not stupid. They know for a fact that's what's going to happen. Why pay you more money to do less work when they could just say, nah, sorry, we changed our mind and got everything they could get out of you. Just things to keep in mind.